Good morning everybody, how is it going? And welcome to this game between Alliance and Invictus Gaming for the StarLadder I-League Invitational Season 2. This game is going on live right now and I wanted to cast it, so here we are. We got a Jakiro and a Clockwork coming out for Alliance already, and a Disruptor and Sanking for Invictus Gaming. Of course, this is one of the first, if not the first tournament ever since 7.06. 7.06 of course brings great change, many buffs, many nerfs, right? The balance of the entire game has been shifted, so it's always exciting to see how people are gonna play it and how people are gonna go about using these new tools available to them. As you can see, one of the heroes that I think definitely had a big buff in 7.06, Kunkka, was the first ban in this match, and that's perfectly understandable. The buff to the bow is super strong, it is very powerful. Jakiro and Clockwork coming out first. Jakiro, a hero that I already saw in a competitive match yesterday. It seems that he's got, I don't know, he's got a little bit of popularity recently. Jakiro, of course, has a new scary talent. If he can ever manage to get to level 25 with Jakiro, then he starts destroying things, right? Level 25 Jakiro is a goddamn monster. It's rare to get there, but that doesn't mean it's not scary. Clockwork and Jakiro is a beautiful combination of heroes. Clockwork is great at catching somebody and then keeping them in place. He even does a lot of damage, but that's not really his main thing, right? He uses the power cogs and then you're trapped in with the Clockwork. Jakiro loves that. Jakiro can put Ice Path on top of that, but Jakiro can put Macropie on top of that. Two insanely powerful spells that kind of require the enemy to stay in place for a little bit. And that is definitely something that Alliance is going for here, right? You can see the synergy already coming out a little bit. We have Disruptor, Sanking, and Juggernaut for Invictus Gaming. Disruptor and Sanking are just some strong supporting heroes, right? Very powerful there. Juggernaut, same deal. Juggernaut has been strong for I don't know how many patches at this point, right? Juggernaut has been very popular, very powerful for a very long time. I don't see that changing anytime soon. He's just a really solid, all-around, powerful hero, and I'm sure he's going to perform fine in this game. Of course, he does have some good tools against both Clockwork and Jakiro, right? Clockwork jumps you, Juggernaut just spins or Omni-slashes you, that's no fun. Jakiro tries to burn you down, but Jakiro isn't really that fast at what he does, right? Jakiro, there's a little bit of a delay on all of his spells, so Juggernaut can yet again just spin and dodge that. Sven coming out for Alliance. I love Sven in this new patch. I think Sven is one of the most powerful heroes in the current state of the game. He does so much. I didn't know it was over there. Oops. Yeah, there we go. Invictus against Alliance, right? But anyway. Juggernaut, one of the most powerful heroes in the new patch. Not Juggernaut. Sven. There we go. Sorry. I got distracted there for a second. Sven, one of the most powerful heroes in the new patch. His new ultimate is so good. Well, it's not really new so much as it was just straight up buffed. Which, again, I've said this a few times, but I don't see why, right? Like, that was just a complete surprise. It doesn't make sense to me, but yes, Sven is going to be powerful in this match, as he's going to be powerful in every single match, because the hero is super strong right now. We have Earth Spirit being banned out, we have Troll Warlord and Darkseer. On the other side, Io, Chen, Shadow Fiend and Chaos Knight. Nothing too crazy there, I think. There's nobody there where we look at it and we're just like, wait a second, right? Maybe Chaos Knight. But Chaos Knight is a hero that is very powerful, right? He was always very powerful. And I actually think that in a competitive setting, he got buffed a little bit, right? The new patch shifted his focus away from having everything centered around the ultimate and moved it towards being a little bit more useful, while the ultimate is of cooldown, on cooldown. I think that works better for competitive games than it works for pub games, right? In pub games, I think having a purely ultimate-based hero is perfectly fine. In competitive games, that is usually a little bit more problematic. So Chaos Knight getting that buff, in my book, really made him very powerful. Magnus coming out for Invictus Gaming and Rubik for Alliance, both of which are powerful heroes, both of which are heroes that we have seen for many patches. I believe Rubik is the single most picked competitive hero ever, right? Rubik is one of those heroes where it's really difficult to nerf him. Like, how do you make Rubik bad? You have to intentionally destroy all of his spells to make him be not worthwhile, because he's got such a powerful ultimate, right? His power is in direct relation, like his power level is in direct relation to the power level of the heroes around him. And, well, there are some strong heroes around, right? And there are some strong spells he can steal. Tinker coming out for Alliance. Invictus Gaming probably still looking at a at an offlane, I assume, right? Magnus is probably mid. Magnus could also be offlane. Juggernaut likely safe lane, could also be mid. So with Invictus, it's a little unclear what exactly they still need. I feel like with Alliance, that was a bit more obvious. Tinker coming out, so Ember Spirit gonna be it for Invictus Gaming. So that will be the mid, I assume. Right, Burning usually plays the safe lane carry. OP is going into the mid. We have the Magnus in the offlane. Boboka will be playing the support. Sand Kingdom Disruptor, of course, always going to be support. On the other side, we have Hanskin on the Jakiro, Jonathan Fan on the Clockwork, Sven being played by Loda, of course, the all-star carry that has been around forever. We have Rubik being played by EGM and Tinker being played by Limp. I'll be honest with you, I think Invictus kind of has the stronger draft right now, so Alliance will have to play from behind a little bit. The Magnus Juggernaut Ember Spirit, that is just really, really scary. And the thing about Magnus, of course, right, if you have Magnus, it is sometimes a bit tricky to get off the proper RP. But if you do get it, then it's just like game winning, instantly, game over, right? But the strong part about Invictus draft that I really like is that Sand King, actually. I think the Sand King is disruptive enough that Alliance will have to deal with him. Alliance will have to just figure out a way to get past the Sand King. Oh, look at these fucking nerds. God, they spent a lot of money on this shit, didn't they? Oh, they gotta get the IO Arcana, right? So anyway, it's funny that this even shows up in no, this isn't even a replay, right? But like in these kind of games. Oh well, competitive here. So let's go ahead and go into free camera. Yeah, I mean, this game is being live cast in front of a big audience, but I am sitting at home here. I've got a bunch of people watching the stream. I'm happy. So yeah, but what I like about the Sand King is a hero that can go in and be really disruptive. Of course, Invictus also have Disruptor, which yet again you can, it's kind of in the name, right? He's also disruptive, right? God, tricking me out there. But anyway, right, so having those two heroes I really, really love, because they can create a little bit of chaos on Alliance, and that kind of chaos tends to lead to easy situations for the Magnus. And again, this Magnus can absolutely just instantly win the game for Invictus. Right, you go in, you RP somebody, game over. Alliance doesn't really have that kind of instant win button, right? Alliance needs to work a little bit harder to make everything work. Now, that doesn't mean that it's impossible. By no means is it, right? It's absolutely doable for them to take this game. But yeah, again, I just think it's going to be a little bit tricky. A lot of this is going to come down to this Tinker in the mid lane. And I love that IG is already coming into the mid to make sure that Limp doesn't just get a bounty rune here, that he needs to work for it. IG actually going to be taking 3 of them? Huh. Wait, isn't there one left? Oh, there we go. Yeah, okay. So IG does end up taking 3 of the bounty runes. That's really good. Oh, EGM, he wants that courier. 1 hit, and he's gonna get it. That is beautiful play. Absolutely fantastic. The courier taken down right away, and that's exactly what Alliance needs, right? As I mentioned, a big part of this game is going to come down to this Tinker in the mid lane, and you can see that Alliance certainly agrees. They're sending the Rubik into the mid immediately to have backup for Limp. They are saying, no, we need to win this lane. We need to win this lane. If we lose this lane, oh man, that's gonna be difficult. Because of course, the Juggernaut is going to win his lane. It's a Juggernaut. Like, right? It's a Juggernaut going up against a solo Clockwork with a bunch of backup. There's no way the Clockwork does much here, right? He just cannot possibly win this. So it's kind of going to come down to like Juggernaut against Sven, and that's perfectly reasonable, right? That's something where it's kind of even, but the Magnus empowering the Juggernaut makes this just so difficult, right? So what you're gonna need to make this happen is that Tinker. So you cannot afford to lose the Tinker. You just cannot afford to do that. Another thing to keep in mind here, of course, Magnus gives so much farming potential to the Juggernaut, to the Ember Spirit, even to himself. Right? All of these heroes will have such an easy time clearing out creeps. There are a lot more creeps on the map now, so you can play more greedy. And yeah, again, this Tinker, key player. I expect Alliance to want to make sure that he does well. Right? They're gonna have the Rubik roam into the mid a bunch, maybe even the Jakiro, just securing it as much as possible. Limp at the moment is doing perfectly fine now. That early courier kill, of course, is absolutely huge. That matters so much. The Ember Spirit is suffering bad. He's level 2 right now, so he's already behind the Tinker by quite a bit. His last hits are not keeping up whatsoever. It is a difficult situation for him to be in, and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. You can see Limp actually just gonna go ahead and laser him, make sure that there's no way he gets any last hits at all. That's that's just not going to happen. So IG needs to now maybe think about helping out this Ember Spirit. And oh my god, EGM, he timed it. He knows, and if he gets this one, that would be huge, but not this time. The courier is going to be snuck around, and OP makes absolutely sure that nothing goes wrong with this one. So they do manage to get the boots on the Ember Spirit, a little bit more regen even. Rubik coming back into the mid though, right? Like, that's exactly what I mentioned earlier. They are putting down wards here as well. You see this? This is some very, very aggressive warding. Not just putting down an aggressive ward, but also putting it down a sentry to make sure that the enemies don't have anything they can do about it. Ember Spirit goes up into the air. Limp diving a little bit deep. He is running low on HP, but he'll be fine. But yeah, poor OP. Currently being outfarmed 25 to 10. And that's just only gonna get worse, right? We also have Alliance going for an aggressive Tinker build here. So, not the pretty much standard farming Tinker. Not the kind of Tinker that's just gonna spend a little while in the jungle, you know, grinding up his early TP boots and then just jumping around the map, getting big as quickly as possible, but more of an active Tinker, going for the heat-seeking missile, going for the laser. There's a lot of burst damage that can come out from this hero. Just people tend to prefer going for the you know, the farming route. But I like what Alliance is doing here, right? They're saying, no man, we're gonna need to be aggressive here, right? We cannot give them time to farm, because if we give them time to farm, they got that Magnus. They're gonna be able to farm, right? Like, we just cannot win that war. Not even just the Magnus and the, you know, like the 2 heroes that go along with it, but they even got the Sanking, and Sanking, while a support, is actually amazing at getting a lot of money. And that is another problem they'll be facing. The farming war is going to be difficult. Now, of course, you have a Sven. And do I even need to mention that a Sven farms well? Right? Sven farms incredibly well. Ridiculously well. Absolutely bonkers how well a Sven can farm. However, it's still going to be him against, you know, like 3 heroes, and that's gonna be tricky. They're gonna jump Jonathan Fan down here at the bottom. He is being chased down, kind of going into the jungle. Actually, Limp teleports in, takes down the Disruptor. Now we have Boboka being lifted into the tower. He'll be fine for the time being. And Burning actually will be turned around on by Jonathan Fan, taking the kill right there. So this early gank attempt here ended up working out quite unfavorably for Invictus Gaming. They lose 2 heroes, amongst those being their #1 carry. And that is not good. That's definitely not what you like to see here. Now, something I really like about Loda as a player, and this is actually something because I've been watching Loda for so long, and you know, like, I know Loda, I know what Alliance does, because this team, and this is something I personally respect a lot, but this team has been consisting of mostly the same players forever, and I love that, right? I think that's really the right way to go. I think it's a bit ridiculous just how often Dota players change teams, considering it's a team game, right? And that stuff really, really matters, but oh well, I mean, it's really their call. Anyway, Jonathan Fan gonna be jumped down there. Burst Strike connects, and they get the kill. EGM teleported back. The Disruptor, of course, with the glimpse, can very easily secure that. Now, Rubik is pretty fussy. I mean, he's got himself some boots, but Burning, of course, he has face boots. Will easily be able to catch up. Gets the double kill. And Juggernaut must be very happy about that. Finishes up his Aquila. I like seeing that. I think having an early Aquila is always a great little tool that you can, you know, choose to go with. And yeah, it's definitely, it just gives some nice stats. That's the thing about Aquila, right? It just gives you a little bit of everything, but, you know, just as much as you need. Not too much, not too little. It's right perfect, I would say. But yeah, what I like about Loda is, Loda, I think, is a player that tends to just farm up really quickly, right? Like, he has these bursts of farm, I think, right? So he spends time farming really hard, and once that he's done, then he will start going for things. But before that, he doesn't really commit to anything. You can see right there, some players would have gone in, thrown the Stormhammer, tried to get that kill, but no, Loda says, you know what, we're gonna sit back. I have my cleave maxed out. I don't have the hammer even maxed out, right? I have my cleave maxed out. I'm just gonna be sitting here. I'm gonna be grinding it up. Right, I'm gonna get powerful, and I'm gonna get the core items I want, which in this case, it's looking like it's going to be that Mask of Madness. Seems perfectly reasonable, right? Mask of Madness on Sven is a very powerful tool. But I expect him to go for probably 2 items, right? He's probably gonna get a Mask of Madness, then another thing, whether that be the Armlet, the Echo Saber, probably not Echo Saber considering he's going Mask of Madness, but Armlet, it could be Blink. Right, could be BKB. There's a bunch of stuff he could go for. But expect to see the Mask of Madness into another item, and then he'll start trying to fight a lot and trying to be active. In the mid lane, we have the Tinker being called out. Tinker will be fine though. He does already have his TP boots and just simply teleports home. This is exactly what Alliance wants, right? Like, they want this Tinker to be powerful, and Limp is powerful. He has TP boots at 8 minutes. That's insane. That is absolutely insane. In the meantime, Clockwork going down at the bottom. Not too much of a surprise. The Juggernaut is now level 7. He has the Omni Slash, right? Omni Slash Spin is the easiest killer in the world. And actually, Tinker going into the bottom. Even Loda coming in. So Loda trying to prove me wrong here. Looking for that hammer. And he's gonna get it. They take the kill. And down goes the Disruptor, and it seems they're gonna go and start pushing now. Maybe maybe Loda has changed the style recently. I don't know. Maybe my information is a little bit out of date there. But the tower is gonna be sieged here. Jakiro throws down a Liquid Fire. Amazing tool for that, right? I love Liquid Fire. It's actually like the main reason why I like Jakiro, right? It's just purely Liquid Fire. It's such a powerful pushing tool. But yeah, this tower is gonna be going down here, unless Invictus commits a lot to defending it. But that doesn't seem worth it, so they're just gonna take it down really quick, and that's gonna be the first tower of the game. We have a return up at the top though. IG starts working on the top tier 1 of Alliance, applying pressure there. Hey, we can do it too, right? And Sanking just goes ahead, pushes down the creep wave. Yeah, this is exactly what I mean with like a Sanking can farm really well. This guy doesn't really have anything. Right, like this Sanking is not rich at all. He's level 4, but he can very easily take down these creep waves and get a lot of money and just catch up. That's the great thing about the hero. He catches up so easily, and that's a strong tool there. Ember Spirit still struggling. Right, he is definitely struggling. He is only sitting at 2,500 net worth at 10 minutes. That is not good. By no means is that good, right? It's only half of what the Tinker has. Definitely a problem. Juggernaut, of course, is doing well for the Radiant here, but not even as well as he probably should. Having that one death definitely sets him back quite a bit. We have Loda back in the jungle. And again, this is kind of what I meant earlier, right? Like, there are some players that will just use their resources to farm because that's all they're going to do for a little bit. There's kind of different styles there, right? Like, certain players like to say, no man, I want to be ready for a fight. So they carry TPs, right? They have all of their resources available. They like to go for item builds that allow them to farm and then continue to be ready to fight, right? So they like having stuff that allows them to refresh their mana, their HP, right? Lifesteal is a very popular item on those kinds of players. It is not exclusive to them, but you know, the thing is just that they want to be able to fight whenever needed. A different kind of playstyle though is saying, you know what, I'm gonna use all of my resources to farm, everything I have available to me, and I'm just gonna get money right now. And once I have gotten the money I want, that's when I'll start farming. But I won't do it any earlier than that. Though they're getting +6 strength here on that Sven. I gotta admit, I actually disagree with that. From my experience, I love the 225 mana. I think 225 mana is amazing. It is so good to have that additional mana pool. Especially, I mean, Sven doesn't have that much mana, right? Like, just in general. But I can also totally see why you would want the strength, right? The strength just makes you quite beefy. You can see he's currently sitting at 1700 life. That's a lot. Also going for a Sage, which is an interesting choice. So I don't expect to see a Sage in Yasha, I'll be honest. Although it's not unheard of. It is something that we haven't seen in a while, but it used to be part of a pretty popular Sven build. I myself used to build it a lot. But actually an item that got buffed quite a bit recently is the Heaven's Halberd. Heaven's Halberd is now something that is really strong, right? And if Loda ends up going for that, I wouldn't be too surprised. Although, I don't know, could be Sage and Yasha, I guess. The movement speed is nice, there's no denying it, right? There's kind of two styles there with Sven. Either you go Blink Dagger or you go Sage and Yasha, right? The one is saying, hey, I want to blink in and be in the fight immediately. The other one is saying, you know what, I'm just gonna make sure I can move around for longer durations, right? Not be as bursty. And you can go pretty damn fast with Sven. Like, you activate the Warcry, the Mask of Madness, you're gonna be quick. You're definitely gonna be quick. Smoke attempt from Alliance. I'm not sure if they know somebody's here. No, they are unaware, but they should see this, which is a little bit suspicious. And yes, IG is going to run into them. Ice Path comes out, misses everything. The Power Cogs push burning into the creeps. He's forced to spin. Just because of the creeps, they actually deal massive damage to him. The Power Shot, Hook Shot, nothing. Oh, the Hook Shot, there we go. Jonathan Fan gets him. Beautiful play. Beautiful play. And he manages to secure the kill. That was actually... I gotta be honest with you, that was mostly luck right there, right? Like, Alliance did not mean to push the Juggernaut into the creeps to deal massive damage to him. But that's how it worked out, and he took so much punishment. Mostly from the... what are they called? The Prowlers? These guys, yeah. The Prowlers locking him down, getting a few hits in. Very dangerous. Limp now in an awkward spot, gets rooted up, gets bursted down. Not much a Tinker can do about that, right? If you get caught out by a Disruptor, by an Earth Spirit, you're probably gonna die. In the meantime, actually Hanskin going down as well. Well, this is a little bit odd. Alliance just had a great fight. Getting a free kill on the Juggernaut, and now they just feed two heroes. Overconfidence, maybe? You know, definitely playing a little bit cheeky there. Oh well. We've got a Blink Dagger now coming up on this Sven. So that makes me think it's probably not Sage and Yasha. It's probably going to be the Heaven's Halberd. He's just going to keep the Sage for now, right? Use that for what it's worth. And then later on, upgrade it into the Heaven's Halberd. We have Jonathan Fan being jumped here. He is going to go down. Do we have anything else, though? Well, OP is running low on resources. He doesn't have much left, but no. Alliance is not going to force a fight here. Without the clockwork, they are definitely lacking in initiation. Well, that is until the Blink Dagger is ready on the Sven, which won't be much longer, but, you know, until then, it's gonna be tricky. Look at how tanky this hero is, man. Like, this is ridiculous. If you activate his ultimate, he's sitting at 2,500 life at 15 minutes. 15 minutes, look at this. Juggernaut has 1,200. Right, like, look at how much life these people have. 1,200 is really like the highest, or 1,300, I suppose, right? And Sven doubles that, no problem. I mean, that's just crazy, right? That's absolutely insane. But that is the power of that new ultimate, right? The buff he received is substantial. And I've seen people argue that, well, is it really a buff though, right? Does it really add that much damage? Yes, it does. Like, the thing is, like, he kind of lost 40% damage, right? Well, actually, it's not 40%, it's 20% of his overall damage. But instead of gaining, instead of that, he has 40 strength, which, if we calculate that into the bonus, you end up with 104 extra damage. 104 is almost always better than 20% of what he had before, right? Like, Sven didn't get 500 damage from his ultimate. Alright, they take down the Juggernaut really quick. They also take the Disruptor. So Alliance definitely looking to push their advantage here. And yep, the Sven is just gonna run in and start beating on the tower. His damage output is insane. Oh, and he doesn't need to worry about tanking it. He's got plenty of life. Also, of course, a Jakiro. Rooted into place. Tower does go down. They lift up the Magnus. Oh, push him around even. The hammer comes out. Oh, the sacking in from behind. He drops down a big OP. Oh no! OP misses though. Can they actually get something here? The Rubik goes down. Can they secure anybody else? Loda is so low. Loda dies. Hanskin on the retreat. He only got 50 life left. He's got a magic stick though. Kind of refusing to use it. Activates it after all. Bobaka will probably be able to secure this kill, right? Like, Hanskin knows this. There's no living this situation. He's just gonna die. Actually, he may be able to turn this around. Oh, he gets him! Is he dead? Yes, he's dead. Oh, oh no. He does get him. That was beautiful. I love that from the Jakiro. What great awareness, because there was no running. Right, like, he wasn't gonna win this by running, but he said, you know what, if I'm not gonna win, I'm at least gonna make it a draw. And he did make it a draw. Limp takes down the Disruptor again. The Tinker starting to really become impactful here. Now, what I would like to see from the Tinker in this game is Ethelon's Aghanim's. Right? We can already see the Ethelons being worked on. I do expect it to also have, like, I do expect him to also go for an Aghanim's. I really want to see that though. I think that is such a great choice this game. There's a lot of right-clicking potential that you're taking away from the Radiant by bouncing that laser. And of course, Ethelons is just great with Aghanims because the laser really doesn't have that much cast range. You kind of need a little bit more. And Tinker doesn't have a great talent for that. I mean, he's got 75 additional, but 75 additional is really not that much. Right, it's just not that significant, but yeah, anyway, he is just grinding up these creeps over here. It's really cool to see that he is able to farm all 3 camps at the same time. It's of course very effective, and he can do it super frequently. Of course, I mean, the camps respawn every minute again, so there's a lot of money to be had there. Sand King has his Blink Dagger already. We saw that earlier. Beautiful initiation in the last fight. Beautiful turnaround. The only thing that could have gone better is, of course, if the Ember Spirit hadn't, you know, used his Fire Remnant into a different direction from the skewer of the Magnus. Ember Spirit goes forward. He finds the Rubik, roots him up. Glimpse back on him immediately. This might actually be good for the Ember Spirit because he was kind of in an awkward spot. They find a Jakiro, root him down as well in the meantime. Sven beats on the Sand King. Skewer RP. 2 people are locked down. Sven being one of them. Burning starts working on him, but Loda! He's willing to fight. He is ready to just go in. Rooted into place yet again. OP. One more hit is gonna do it. Or a missile. Or really anything at all. Down goes the Ember Spirit. We have Loda running around the place. Hoping to fight. But this is of course the struggle. The eternal struggle of the Sven. You just want to fight. But what your enemy doesn't want to do is fight. That is the absolute last thing you want to do while going up against the Sven. So most people will simply try to avoid the fight as much as possible. They'll push you away, they'll lock you in place. They'll just say, you know what, you can try to fight. We're just gonna, like, leave. Is that okay? Right, we're just gonna go. Now, there's really only one tool that Loda can get, and lets him deal with this. That is the BKB, and we can see he's already working on it. As he should. Right, like, this is just the right item to get here. You should get BKB. 100% of the time. I mean, there's a lot of magic on the other side that locks you down. It's just the absolute worst thing as a Sven. Sven goes in and beats people up, right? The only time a Sven loses a fight is if people don't fight him. But then he can definitely lose pretty hard. So, it's kind of a problem. Ember Spirit still going for the magic damage Ember. I'm a little surprised by that. So, I'll be honest with you. Like, the magic damage Ember, once Ember Spirit got nerfed, from my experience, it's not even, like, necessarily... Like, okay, look, I'm gonna say it like this. I think it is still usually the stronger build. If you take magic damage Ember and physical damage Ember and you compare them, right? I think it's usually the stronger build. But not always. I don't think it's always the stronger build. I think there are a lot of scenarios where you can go for physical damage Ember and still do a lot of damage. Oh, Omni Slash coming out on Loader. Loader gonna be going down. OP running in. He roots the clockwork in place. Burning starts working on him. The hookshot forward will keep Jonathan Fan safe for a little while longer. Oh, nice power cox. He's actually still alive. But XXS comes in with the shockwave and secures the kill. OP now looking for more. He gets the root combo. Jakiro will be stuck in place. The skewer, the burrow strike, and down goes the dragon. IG definitely starting to gain a bit of an advantage here. But as I was saying, I'm just thinking that, hey, you've got a Magnus on your team. He didn't have a good early game. Why don't you try to use the Empower to farm a bunch, you know, and go for like a more physical based style? I don't know, it's just my thinking. Like, I'm not saying this build is gonna not work, right? It's absolutely going to work, and you saw it right there. It is still very powerful by really all definitions, right? But the dream, you gotta play for the dream, man. The RP, the Empower, you gotta go big. XXS, by the way, picking up a Hand of Midas. So, items are really starting to come online all across the board, right? So, Magnus, of course, working on the usual Magnus build, which is just a bunch of mobility, right? We got the Blink already. 4 staff coming up next. Probably gonna see a Shadow Blade at some point. Jonathan Fan actually jumping OP. OP gonna get lasered right here. The Stormhammer coming out as well. And Loader gets the kill. No response from Invictus Gaming. And that seems smart. Seems kind of silly to go in right there. Burning going for the Sancient Yasha and Diffusal Blade. So, Sancient Yasha is definitely an odd choice. I think that's a direct response to the Sven though. Right? It's him saying, well, against Sven, if I activate Manta Stars, he's just gonna kill all of my illusions. Like, they're just instantly going to die. Same deal with Tinker, you know, like, they got a lot of AoE. They've got the March, they've got the rockets eventually, right, if the Tinker does go for the Agonus, which I feel like is the safe assumption, although Limp is actually going Dagon, it seems. Right, but if that ends up being the case, then I feel like I should just, you know, not play Manta Style base, because Manta Style just won't really be of that much use. And while there are definitely some arguments to be made for the other side as well, it does make sense, right? You still want the Yasha on Juggernaut. You always want the Yasha on Juggernaut. You need that movement speed. The stats are so good on the hero. You need a Yasha. He just decided to go with the other option. So the Ancient Yasha is online on him. Zanking, of course, working on... It seems like a 4-staff. Yeah, it seems very reasonable. Zanking actually gonna be killed right here. Yeah, rip him. Yeah, well. But I wonder what Burning's actually going for next. He's got something coming up. Blink Dagger. Okay. Seems reasonable. Why not? More mobility. Go in. Get those fools. Get those fools, you know. Be aggressive. And Blink Dagger almost done on OP. So that's actually going to be a very, very agile team. IG will be fast. 4 heroes with Blink Dagger. And then, of course, one of them with massive range. Difficult to deal with. On the other side, the Tinker almost has his Dagon ready. So he is actually going Dagon. Very interesting. Odd, to say the least. I haven't seen Dagon Tinker in a while. But I guess he just wants the damage, right? He just wants to be able to kill some guys. Jonathan Fan has a 4-staff working on a Yules. We've got the Sven with the BKB, so that's really good news. He's also picked up a double damage and is now using the God Strength to just murder Roshan. Yeah, look at how tanky this guy is. Like, this is exactly what I mean. I mean, he's just sitting on 3,000 HP right now. Okay. Q coming in. He puts down a static field. Sven is trapped inside of it, but he doesn't want to leave. No, he kills Roshan, activates the BKB just to make safe. In the meantime, over there, Disruptor already going down. Burning gonna try to turn it around on Jonathan Fan. The Clockwork will get picked off. OP gets... Oh, they get the OP! They get 2 of them! Do they have the power? Yes, they do! Yes, they do. And Handskin goes down. Of course, Loader gonna be trapped, and there's not much he can do here. He can try to turn it around, but without a BKB, without an ultimate, there's nothing. There's absolutely nothing. And an ultra kill for IG. Well, that Roshan was risky, right? That's the thing. It's one of those plays where when it works, you look like a fucking genius, but when it doesn't... Oh, well, isn't that unfortunate? So, Alliance is now quite a bit on the back foot. Back foot? Food? No, back foot. They're quite a bit on the back foot. Of course, Juggernaut is starting to get really dangerous, right? Like, he's getting scary. Same for the Ember Spirit. He's actually starting to catch up, you know? He's got his Blink Dagger working on the next item, whatever that be. Whatever that may be, right? Voidstone, so Lincoln's, probably? If I had to guess, it's Lincoln's. Could be yours, I don't know. Yours is actually not half bad on Ember Spirit. Like, it's really not. It's a perfectly fine item. You don't see it very often, because the hero's usually farming well. But if you aren't farming well, yours is a great choice, actually. It lets you farm up really well with the Flame Guard. You know, you can continue to just grind and get big. And it's just a strong tool all around. But yeah, Ember Spirit almost level 20. I wonder what he's going for. Probably the Flame Guard absorption. Alright, that's what you would expect here. And the Perseverance coming out. I mean, it comes down to Lincolns or Battle Fury, right? And then I think that leaves us with the Lincolns. Oh, Loader. Does he see him? Well, he doesn't want to go for him. He scanned this out, so they know that IG is definitely in the area. Juggernaut. Sitting on a bunch of money, working on a BKB, that's an interesting choice. So he doesn't want to deal with too much of the spell damage from the other side either, and it's definitely reasonable. I mean, since he doesn't have Manta Star, he has no way of getting rid of the laser, right? So if he gets lasered, he's just not going to be right-clicking people. BKB ready on burning now, so that's big. And a smoke attempt as well. And this is actually looking really good for IG. Oh yeah, they're gonna go in RP on Loader. They just want this guy, but XXS skewers him away from Burning. Burning's just gonna start working on him anyway, and they get the kill. Hanskin puts out the Macropire, but it does not matter. Rubik goes down. Jonathan Fan goes to the creeps, but it glimpsed back immediately. And picked off as well. That's 3 quick kills for the Radiant side, and no response from Alliance. There was nothing they could do about that. And that wasn't even well coordinated, right? Like, that was XSS going in and then the skewer going somewhere else entirely. That was one of those fights where you could really see the dominance of the one side over the other, right? You can see how much better of a spot IG really is, because that fight wasn't great and they still absolutely demolished Alliance. Magnus now has his Shadow Blade. And yeah, of course, it's level 20, 10% of power damage and cleave. That's Magnus for you. The zero is so good. So good. Yeah, Juggernaut now gets quite massive damage there. Level 21. Oh, Loader blinks forward. He wants to get a kill. Finds Disruptor, so he will kill Disruptor, but uses the BKB for it. I mean, that's not really the greatest kill in the world. Okay. Limp. He has the level 2 Dagon, and this is really something I'm gonna question. Like, I don't know why he went for level 2 Dagon. Or Dagon at all. It seems odd. To me, Aghanims is good here. Aghanims is really good here. But, I don't know. I'm not too much of a Tinker player myself, so maybe, well, most likely he knows something that I don't. It just hasn't been working either. Like, that's the thing. If he had gotten Dagon and it was working and he was getting kills with it, then I would say, okay, well, clearly there's something going on there that I don't get. But it hasn't been working. He hasn't been getting kills. He really has had barely any impact on the game. And as a Tinker, is that really acceptable? Well, that's questionable, right? Magnus goes invisible. He's got the RP ready again. Oh, Well, you're just gonna go ahead and farm up a bunch. No need to really overextend right here, you know. We're just gonna chill, there's no need to force a fight. Ember Spirit picking up the 500 Flame God absorption. Got Juggernaut, of course. Plus 8 into all stats at level 20. He's actually gone for the purely defensive route this game, which I find interesting. Right? So Burning wants to be tanky. You can see, like, Juggernaut gets interesting talents. Like, every single level up talent is either... Like, every single talent is either an offensive one or a defensive one. Like, it's always one of the two. And, he always went with the defensive one. Which is really interesting. But, yeah, just a spin on top of the macro pies, pushing. Of course, Jack Hero is nowhere near level 25. I mean, he didn't even go for the 25% experience gain. So, Handskin does not have macro pie as a pure damage spell. Not even close, man. Like, that's not gonna happen this game. Well, it might. I mean, if Alliance wants to come back here, this is gonna take a little while. Sven is now level 19, so we've got the max level God Strength ready, and I think that's a big deal. Right, like, God Strength does scale really, really well. Level 20, 20% evasion or 30 attack speed. I think you actually gotta go with the 30 attack speed. I know 30 attack speed isn't actually that much, but on a Sven, that matters. So he does have his Heaven's Halberd. He's now working on the Daedalus, I assume, picking up a Crystalus. Could also be a Bloodthorn. Bloodthorn is good here. Right, you're going up against Ember Spirit, you're going up against Sanking. Bloodthorn is absolutely a fine choice. But I expect it to be a Daedalus because Sven just wants to hit hard. Right, that's the point of the hero. Oh, well, never mind. It's gonna be the Bloodthorn. Still good, right? Don't get me wrong, it's still perfectly fine. It's just a bit more expensive. But... yeah, like with Sven, your goal is not to be fancy. Your goal is not to, like, disable people for long and do anything crazy. No, you jump in, you stun a guy, you have 2 seconds to kill him, and he better be dead afterwards. And that's your goal, that's your game plan. Well, the smoke. I think that's definitely what they want to do here, right? They want to see if they can maybe get a pick-off or something, but at the same time, Invictus is not giving them anything to work with. You can see they're grouped up, they're playing together, they're running around as a team. The missiles coming out, scouts out the Juggernaut, so Alliance knows, but if Jonathan fans jumpstart, they are just going to die. Right? That's just it. So they cannot possibly be thinking about that. Invisibility from the Magnus. Maybe looking for something, but doesn't really feel like going into deep. Yeah, don't want to risk losing the Magnus. That seems a little bit silly. Oh, he's not going for the 50 epicenter attacks, though. Well, that's interesting. I would go for that against the Sven. I mean, Sven doesn't have a lot of attack speed. And, well, I guess the Sven does have BKB, so it does make sense. Never mind. Never mind. Alright, Alliance is coming in. But, IG, they don't feel like risking anything. This is working out great for them. Alright, they're just continuing to grind up. This is exactly what I mentioned in the beginning. Right, their farming potential is just better. They just have more heroes that can farm well. And they have more heroes that benefit from farm. And in this patch, in this new patch, I think that really matters. I think that's really the thing that will decide a lot of games. Because there are so many resources on the map now. Right, there's so much farm. There's so much farm. So you gotta use that. And IG is just getting better use out of that. And as a result, the graphs look like this. Also, they got better late game, you know. Well, except, I mean, I don't know. The Tinker can definitely just start coming online and wrecking things. There's always a possibility, although unlikely, of course. I mean, again, this guy has barely had an impact. He has a lot of farm, but that's about it. Almost Dagon level 5. So, the one thing I like about Dagon this game is that it kind of builds really nicely into Etherlands. Not Etherlands, Ethereal Blade. There we go. Similar. But it builds really nicely into E-Blade. And E-Blade is good this game. Right? You E-Blade the Juggernaut, he's not going to be happy about it. But that's about it. And that's just kind of a worse version of the laser. So, I don't know. Ember Spirit now has his Lincolns. I wonder what he's going for at level 25. I expect it to be the Searing Chains. I mean, against Sven, you just kind of have to, right? It's so good against him. And IG, oh, they want to take the risky play this time. Roshan is back up. This one is going to drop the cheese, of course. And, well, missile coming out. Scouts it out. Yeah, I mean, so far, no interruption. And Burning is just working on it. This is, of course, the advantage of the Juggernaut. Juggernaut is so strong at this point, he can just do this on his own. Right? Like, he doesn't need any help. He doesn't need anybody doing anything for him other than just his team being around. So if he gets jumped, he's fine. And he's also very tanky. I mean, he's got an Abyssal Blade now. It's a powerful item. Alright. Tinker. Oh, no! Okay, the Glimmer Cape keeps him safe for a little while. And an interesting pause. Oh, man, that was close, though. Like, Limp. If Limp gets picked off right there, that is a disaster. That is a disaster. So, Alliance gotta count themselves lucky that they had that Glimmer Cape and no detection from the other side. I think this is the first time that IG saw the Glimmer Cape, so they weren't ready to react. Yeah. Ooh. That was very close to disaster, though. Very, very close. Still looking tricky. Interesting pause. You know, let me talk about something else really quick. So, in my patch note analysis, like the first one I made, I said that the Roshan change, right, this Roshan change, is kind of meant to make it so that at minute 40, you get the tools to end the game. They want the game to end at about 40 minutes, right? That's why at minute 40, the additional siege creep spawns, and it is more powerful than before. You have Roshan giving you a cheese, right? They've added more creeps in around the map. So it kind of really seemed to me like that's exactly what they're going for. They wanted the games to end around 40. And actually, after having watched some competitive games, it really turns out that that's what happens a lot. Like, games end at around like 35 to 45 minutes. And oftentimes, that second Roshan giving people cheese, that does have an impact. I don't know, I just find that interesting, right? Made a good call on that one for once. But yeah, right now we're just waiting. So this is IG's vision. They do have a ward up here. And that ward is a problem for Alliance. In fact, I would probably expect a disaster because of that ward. I mean, EGM is going to run into vision. Burning can definitely throw out an Omni Slash. Sand has 4 stuff ready, but no Burrow Strike. Alright, we're gonna just figure it out in a second. So, Juggernaut actually retreats. Oh, they catch the Sven with the Yules. But no follow-up. Oh, nice field. But the blink forward. Loader wants to go for somebody, but the invisibility keeping him safe. Disruptor still doing alright. In the background, the Jakiro is picked off. And RP, oh no, Loader again. Yeah, he activates his ultimate, BKB, and is just trying to fight. Mask of Man is coming out as well, but there's just nobody to hit. I mean, the Juggernaut is not a good target to hit. He's probably the tankiest hero in the game, right? Like, is there anybody that can take more hits? I mean, he's got 2900 HP, 25 armor, the Abyssal Blade. I mean, Sven has more life, but he's got less armor. No Abyssal Blade. He's got evasion though, so they're probably even in that regard, but yeah, anyway. OP coming forward, like he's being aggressive. Oh, the jump! Do they get it? No, Burning gets the edges. XXS caught in the middle here, he's still doing alright. Burning takes down the Tinker. Again, the Tinker having like no impact. They find Jonathan Fan. Jonathan Fan will also go down. Beyond godlike streak on the Juggernaut. He has the cheese, he has the edges. Giving the cheese to the Ember Spirit here. So OP now has a lot more resources available in the next fight. And yeah, he's also really starting to have... I don't know, like he's had a big impact on the game in general. Just because he gets to root the Sven. That's all he needs to do, right? That's all the Ember Spirit has to contribute to be powerful. He just jumps in and uses the Q. And the Sven is like, oh, well, shit. Oh, shit, man, I didn't plan for this. It's kind of unfortunate like that. Loader wants to go for this. He can. Yep, they go for the Ember Spirit, get the Ice Path. That is a kill. That's a good start. Problem was BKB and Ultimate was used, so if they want to fight, they need to be quick. And yeah, Loda activates the Warcry. He wants to go in. He wants to go in right now. Blinks forward, but no. After the tower goes down, Invictus Gaming is going to make the safe call and just retreat away. No need to take a fight. They can't pursue you, because the Sven ultimate will run out, and they do not want to fight without that. Well, actually, that might be an interesting surprise tactic here from Alliance. No. That's a very silly idea. They should not fight without Sven ultimate. Absolutely not. Terrible idea. Heaven's Halberd coming in handy right there. Allowed him to get through the Lincolns from the Ember Spirit. Shut him down really good. You know, getting a quick kill. Limp now has Dagon 5 working on a Sheepstick, it seems. Again, we're hoping to eventually see the impact of this item. It is a lot of damage, right? Like, that's the thing. Like, you do a lot of damage, but you just keep getting caught. And I don't know. If you have Agnums, you also can play more of a long-range game. I know I keep going on about this, but I just really think this is a huge problem. I talked about the Tinker in the start of the game, right? I said the Tinker is going to be an essential part to Alliance winning. They need the Tinker to do well, and they need the Tinker to have an impact. The Tinker did well. He did not have an impact. And that is that is why they're so far behind, right? Like, they are now super far behind in an almost unwinnable position. Not entirely unwinnable, of course, because that doesn't exist, but almost unwinnable. And yeah, it is difficult. They catch the Clockwork. Clockwork will die. It's not too big of a deal, but still sucks a little bit. Thank God we don't have respawn talents anymore, right? Like, people actually, like, properly die now. Like, dying matters. Isn't that great? Because dying should matter. Respawn talents were a terrible thing for the game. I'm so happy that they removed them. Like, that is something I think Valve absolutely deserves all of the props for. They can get, really, I don't know. Like, seriously, that's great of them. I love that they did that. They just removed them. Anyway, root on a Jakiro. Jakiro will end up being fine for the time being. I mean, the hero is reasonably tanky and not that high value. Dagon coming out, Burning, taking a bit of damage here, OP. Well, he's gonna be forced to retreat out, and Loda is in the middle. He wants to fight, gets stunned up immediately. Activates the BKB, and melee barracks goes down. So that's the only thing that has happened so far. Sven locked in place. I mean, he's trying to fight. Oh, the skewer? Well, Loda is in the middle here. He can't activate his ultimate, though. He's trying to fight himself out of that situation. And the RP! They catch Loda. They catch Jakiro. The reverse RP from EGM, though. But he will just be jumped by Boboka. And down he goes. Burning. Comes back to life. That just keeps him going. Jonathan Fan will be picked off yet again. Chopped into little pieces by the Juggernaut. Sliced and diced and eaten. And, well, that's gonna be the tower here. Tinker is still alive, but, I mean, what can he do? He teleports in at the side and spams his rockets. Yeah, it's not possible for him to get into range for the Dagon even. Teleports into the bottom here. Yeah, IG is just looking to finish. Like, that's the entire point. They catch Limp. Oh, no, they don't actually. OP missing the Searing Chains, but the GG is called. There's nothing that Alliance can do at this point. The game is over, and Invictus Gaming takes it. Nice. That was well played from them. Well, I mean, they did win the draft, in my opinion, right? Like, it just makes more sense to play that kind of lineup in this kind of patch, but oh well. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Just a little bit of a cast. As always, please don't forget to leave feedback. I'm always open to that. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.